Hi, welcome to the Wonoloer Resume Workshop today. This resume workshop is for those pursuing full-time employment outside the Wonolo platform. We understand everyone has different needs when it comes to looking for jobs. These are some best practices we have compiled based on experience and online resources. Today, we will be covering 4 topics: basic components of a resume, customize a basic resume, handling common hurdles, and standing out from the crowd. Here are the basic components of a resume. The goal here is to give prospective employers an overview of your skills and experiences in order of importance and recency. The objective statement is optional. However, it is highly recommended if your past experience is in a different field from the job you apply to. You can also use this section to demonstrate your interest and highlight your transferable skills. An objective statement allows a prospective employer to understand the type of job you're seeking and your high-level skills. Here are some examples of objective statements that may be relevant for your use. Qualification summary. A qualification summary gives a broader description of your experience and skills. Describe the most important things a prospective employer should know about you. And remember, either use sentences or short phrases. And always use the job description you're applying for to determine which skills to include. Next, we will talk about professional experience. On your resume, you want to list your past job experiences that are relevant to the job you're applying for. For each job you're listing, describe the role and any major accomplishments from your time there. Again, remember to use short sentences or phrases, and use the job description to determine which skills to include. And also, wherever possible, quantify your achievement. This is a common format recruiters expect to see. For each job listed, start with the company name, the city where you worked, job title, days of employment, and your key roles and responsibilities. Next, we will look at education. If you are a recent college grad or recently completed a new degree, list education on top of your resume. List your education at the bottom if you have more relevant work experience. Next, we will talk about how to customize basic resume. Every resume has basic requirements it needs to meet, the most basic of which is your name and location. On a resume, you can use an initial. Rather than this person's full name of Johnny Wonolo, he could go with J. Wonolo. You may use a larger font for your name in order to stand out and signal confidence. Listing your address is optional. Rather than listing your full address, use your city and state only. If you're applying for a job, be prepared to ensure your phone is capable of taking messages and to double-check your contact information. There are reports that show that recruiters spend on average of 6 seconds reviewing your resume. Therefore, it is important for you to include as many keywords as possible in your resume in order to catch recruiters' attention. Always look for keywords in the job posting. Both required and recommended qualities are important to mention. Here is an example of a truck driver job posting. We have highlighted a few keywords that you should consider including in your resume if you were to apply for this job, including valid driver's license, clean driving record, customer focused, and a team player. And next, we will talk about how to handle some of the most common hurdles. For college grads and young professionals, you may lack of experience, therefore leaving your resume full of white space. We have listed a few do's and don'ts you may consider following to make up the lack of experience. For example, you may add an objective, especially if your degree is not relevant to the job you're applying to. You could also add relevant volunteer experience or add a space between the name of the company and the job. Some of you may have large gaps in your employment history. Why do employers care about gaps in your employment history? Because they want to make sure that your skills are up to date. To address their concern, you may add explanations to cover any gaps on your resume, or emphasize consistent use of the old skills during the gaps or any new skills you have acquired. A person who had been unemployed for longer than 6 months wasn't being hired, not because they did not possess the skills, but because they had simply been unemployed for too long. So how do you prevent your resume from being blindly rejected? First, you need to acknowledge that the hurdles exist. Get familiarized with the market, and you need to adjust your expectations accordingly. There are a few steps you could follow to improve your resume. You can, for example, add additional sections and add personal referrals. Next, we will talk about how to stand out from the crowd. Thank you notes can be a good way to stand out from the crowd. Keep notes brief and highlight anything that you want to re-emphasize to employers. If you chose to send an email, make sure you send an email within 24 hours of your interview to bring your application top of mind. Some jobs may require references. Your new employer uses these references to look into your past job experience and to gather advice on how to work with you. Do not assume your references in the past would continue to be comfortable with being your references. Always talk to your references before listing their contact. Last but not least, do not forget to manage your online presence. Information found online can often result in negative impacts on your career. Keep online content private and clean up anything that may be publicly searchable. So finally, here are some general reminders on your resume. Make sure that your resume stays within 1 page. Margins should not exceed 1 inch. List your work history in order of date with the most recent position at the top. Include keywords from the job posting, and quantify your achievement wherever possible. Explain employment gaps, and add additional relevant volunteer experience. So thanks for participating in this workshop, and good luck with your job search. Now we're open up for Q&A.